Hey guys, my name is Logan, or Cream Tag, and today we have the Integra here, and we're going to be detailing the engine bay. So the engine bay is still absolutely filthy after doing all the work to prep this thing for paint, and we need to get all that paint crap and dust and everything out of the engine bay, and along with that, any grease and everything that else might have been caked up in there. So we're going to detail it out. I'm going to kind of give you guys like a good kind of beginner way on how to detail your engine bay cost effective and quickly with minimal amount of work and prep. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video, hopefully it's helpful to you, and well, let's get right into it. Alright, so we got the hood popped, and as you can see, this engine bay is totally filthy. You'll notice all up on the hood here, on the intake box here and everywhere else, there is dried coolant. That basically, long story short, my stock radiator blew up on me, so I put a brand new Mishimoto rad in there. Everything's taken care of, everything's fixed, so that's not going to be happening anymore, but the residue is still there. So what we're going to do is we're going to get everything cleaned up, and along with that, you look closely in here, you'll see there's all kinds of dust and debris and crap that's just in the engine bay, and we want to get rid of all of that. So there's a couple of first steps that you want to do, and the first thing is you're going to want to get rid of your battery. Basically, the majority of your engine bay and how car manufacturers design your car, they make it so that yes, water can get in your engine bay, right? When there's rain or it's super stormy out, water's going to splash up from underneath the car, and there will be times where your engine bay gets wet. Now, what you don't want is certain things that aren't necessarily really supposed to get super wet getting wet. This includes your distributor, your intake, or your alternator, right? Those are things generally you don't want them to get super wet, especially the electronic pieces like the distributor and your alternator. So what we're going to do is disconnect the battery, because when we disconnect the battery, then there's not going to be electricity flowing through all of these different electrical parts of your car. So when you get everything nice and cleaned up, you let it all fully dry, and it shouldn't be any problem. Of course, you're going to want to stay away from spraying directly onto those electrical parts, but for the most part, they're designed to have water splash onto them, so it's not a huge deal if they get a little wet. You just want to avoid it if you can. We're just going to pull this out of the car completely. Now that we've got our battery out of the way, we want to basically just kind of keep an eye and look at what are some of the things that maybe we don't want to get wet. So the first thing, this is our distributor. We don't want that getting super soaked, right? The other thing is our air box here. So this is mostly sealed off. Mine, whoever owned the car previously decided to drill holes in the side for extra air flow, whatever you want to call it. So I'll have to make sure I'm not soaking that. Maybe I'll mask that off, so that's not going to be an issue. And so some of you guys may have cold air intakes or short ram intakes. Now that's something that you're going to probably either just want to remove the cone altogether and tape it off, or put a plastic bag over top of it. That's something you really don't want to just soak. There are proper kits. I know K&N sells some really good cleaning kits for different filters that can be cleaned. And then the other thing that we want to be careful of, my car, it's right here. This is the alternator. So basically you just want to make sure that that guy doesn't get absolutely soaked. But yeah, so we're really just going to get right into it. I think what we're going to start off with is just giving it a quick hose down, and then I have this degreaser, and I'll show you that in a second. And we're going to spray a ton of stuff, and then yeah, we want to get a couple of little brushes, and I'll show you all the stuff that I'm going to be using right now. Yeah, we'll try and make this job as quick and easy and efficient as we possibly can. So what we got here is your typical household leaky hose, and this is what we're going to be using to hose down the engine bay. So first we're going to get a couple things taped off, and then we're going to start hosing her down. So just these holes here, we're just going to take some painter's tape and just cover those suckers up. Now you don't really have to do this, but I'm going to be taking this car out shortly after this. I just don't want any water or anything like that getting in the engine bay. Now, right now we're not trying to actually clean any crap off. We're just trying to get this stuff wet. So that's exactly what we're doing. Just a good old mist. And whatever garden hose attachment you have will really work well for this. And that's really all I need to do. And then we have this stuff. This is just engine degreaser, and it's just a little spray bottle. I know it's dirty, it's been sitting for a while, but this stuff is totally good. And you just spray it on and it foams up, and it really takes care of grease really well. It'll clean off oil that's been caked on your engine forever, and it's really just a good stuff to use. So one thing you'll also see on this engine, my valve cover, not in the best shape. Now I have another valve cover that I'm actually gonna be putting on this car. Before I put it on, I'm actually gonna paint it, and that'll be next week's video, is going over and learning how to do a valve cover paint job. And it's super easy, super explanatory, but you really wanna make sure you do these steps properly. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go over that and show you how to do that next week, next Sunday. All right, so we're just gonna take our engine degreaser and we're just gonna soak this thing. Now, you wanna apply this pretty liberally and just really soak anything that's really dirty. Of course, you wanna really avoid things like your alternator and other kind of electrical components that we talked about earlier. But I'm just gonna start and just literally just start spraying everything. Alright, so got the whole engine soaked, and you want to let it sit for a little bit. What you want to do kind of afterwards is you're going to get some of these brushes like this, right? You can get these at your local AutoZone or equivalent kind of like auto parts store, and you're just gonna go crazy, pretty much. You're gonna scrub every little thing that's dirty and get everything out. You can really use anything. This is like, she still has the tag on here. This is just like a dish kind of scrubber that you would use in your kitchen, right? But it's the same thing. If you're worried about your paint, you want to get something a little bit softer, maybe actually get a proper detailing brush. I'm not super worried about it. Factory paint, and it's not that big of a deal, so I'm gonna use this one as well. But realistically, you can pick these guys up for like 10 bucks. You can get a couple of them, you know, super good investment. And yes, you just want to basically just start going in swirls. Use it like it's a pencil, right? And just go ham. After you've kind of soaked everything in, scrubbed everything out, you're going to want to go through and just let it sit for a little bit and then really just hose it down. If you can get like a wide kind of mist like this and just kind of hit everything at once, that's really ideal. And you want to get all that gunk off, everything. Everything you sprayed, you want all of it out of here. So if you just get like a good, nice, wide span of the whole engine bay, really spray everything down. And as you can kind of see, everything's already starting to look that much nicer. And if you want, you can go a little bit more in detail and just really get everything out that you need to get out. All the dirt, all the crap. You're gonna soak this all out. Alrighty, so got everything sprayed down, scrubbed out, rinsed off. Now, by no means is this a deep clean. I want to make this very clear. This is by no means a deep clean, right? You're going to notice after everything's nice and dry that there's still going to be dirty spots and it's not going to be perfect, but it is 100% going to be much better than it was before. And for half an hour of your time, absolutely worth it. If you guys want, I can do a full video on a deep clean and a full scrub down to make this engine bay look nice and pretty. So go let me know down in the comments below if you guys would like to see a video like that. I would love to make one. I'll probably do a deep clean like that on this car anyway, so if you want to see a video, let me know. So pretty much now the next thing we're really going to do is just get this sucker nice and dry, nice and clean, and looking good again. All right, so go to air compressor, and we're just gonna start blowing this thing dry. All right, so again, by no means is this a perfect job, but really for like 20 to 30 minutes of work, I could have done this. I mean, realistically, I could have done this in half the time as I did, but I'm trying to make a YouTube video out of it for you guys, so you guys kind of get an idea of what to do. For the amount of time put into it, the result is pretty good. It's not perfect, of course. I don't know how easy it is to tell on video, but there's a little bit of coolant here, so we're literally just gonna spray this down with a little bit of water and just scrub at it. You can get, this is soapy water, so if you want to just get it, add it a little bit with that kind of stuff, and just scrub that off. You're gonna want to use a lot of pressure, a little bit of elbow grease, but you get there eventually, and you'll be chilling. This is also another one of those times where you can bring your brushes back out too, simple stuff like that. Anywhere on these like hoses. A lot of these hoses are a lot older, and they're just kind of past their due date a little bit. So I'll probably be replacing all of my rad hoses and all that kind of stuff soon, just to kind of bring a little bit of life back into this engine bay again. Yeah, I just want to wipe everything down with a little bit of microfiber. There. Now what I didn't do, what I should have done, is gone out and bought another thing of engine degreaser. A second bottle would have made this job look a lot nicer. But because I was running out, I didn't spray as much as I maybe should have. Like I told you guys, you want to be very generous with how much you're spraying on there. And I wasn't, because I didn't have very much. So make sure that when you're doing this, use a lot of that engine degreaser. It really does make a huge difference. But you're going to want to use lots of it, of course. Alright, so everything pretty much finished drying up, so we just tossed the battery back in. All I really did to clean up the battery is I just had a little toothbrush, one of the little scrubbers as well, and just some shop towels. I just wiped it down, did a pretty good job. And then for all the corrosion that we saw at the beginning of the video, I have this stuff here. It's called dielectric grease, and this you'll be able to buy at pretty much any auto parts store. And basically it just helps get rid of corrosion, and it helps promote electrical currents. So you spray a little bit on there, and then took a toothbrush to it, and it really cleaned both of the connections up really, really well. And yeah, so it's a lot better now, and I'm assuming it'll have a lot better of a connection going forward, and honestly probably get a little bit of life out of your battery as well. So yeah, just tightening everything down. But if you take a look, I mean, overall, it did a really good job. The engine bay looks really nice, and of course, this is not perfect, but really just even taking a shop towel or like a microfiber cloth just to all the remaining excess dirt or whatever that's on the engine bay really makes a huge difference. A lot of stuff you really need to get in there and scrub, and you can't just spray it all off. So yeah, it made a huge difference, especially on the strut towers here. That really made a huge difference. So yeah, we're gonna finish getting the battery tightened up, and that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it gave you a little bit of insight onto how to properly clean your engine bay. It's a lot easier than most people think it is. You just want to the only really thing to be careful about is just any kind of electrical components of your engine bay. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next Sunday when we paint the valve cover. Looking forward to doing that with you guys. I'll see you next time. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. See ya.